Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Soul Land 2 Part 161 based on novel. So let's start. Who knew that I would meet her during the blind date? She had long, pinkish blue hair and was absolutely ravishing. She looked identical to Wang Dong. I still thought that she was Wang Dong's sister. However, I never expected Wang Dong to actually be Wang Donga. She had always been by my side, but I foolishly didn't know it. She called me a fool. Wasn't she right? However, I'm willing to be her fool for life. Naturally, we got together. I really liked her. Everything that happened in the past replayed in my mind. Even in my dreams, I didn't expect to get together with my goddess. Yes, she's my goddess. Wutong, you aren't the first person to look like her. There was another girl who looked exactly like her. That girl was called Wang Chua. I met her before and after the blind date. Then, I even thought that they were the same person. It was only afterward that I realized that they were different. I liked Donga, but Chua gradually walked into my world. She helped me and saved me. More weirdly, she was even able to form a fusion skill with me. However, I only have Donga in my heart. 6. Long Xiao's voice softened a little, but he continued to shout. Hui Yuhao lifted his hand and stabbed himself. Black light flashed once again. It was the 6th stab, and there were 12 wounds now. His body shook as this stab landed. He also staggered back 2 steps. The ground was covered in black blood. His face had also turned from pale white to dim gold. His entire aura seemed to be there yet not be there at the same time. Even his pupils started to turn grey. Yuhao, stop. Please, I beg you. Please stop. Leave the last 3 stabs for me, alright? Tang Wutong was already sobbing uncontrollably. Hui Yuhao shook his head gently and said, I'm a man. Even if you don't look like her, I'll still do it for you. I'll protect my partner and my friend. We are friends, aren't we? Finish listening to my story first. I've always been very troubled. I was certain that I liked Donga, but I didn't want to harm Chua either. Chua started to like me from some unknown period of time. I was sandwiched between her and Donga. I didn't know what to do. As a result, all sorts of problems piled up. Once, we entered a place called the Yin-Yang Love Querying Valley. There, we went through many ordeals. Eventually, Donga saved me by committing suicide. Then, Chua admitted defeat. However, Donga didn't manage to wake from the coma that she sustained in the process of committing suicide. I personally sent her back to her home, but that was the last time I saw her. When I returned again, she had already left. Her family told me that she had already awoken from her coma. The Dolor continent is so vast. How could I find her? Not long before that incident, Chua had also died while saving me on a mission. I asked myself, do I really not have Chua in my heart at all? No, I could feel that she left a deep impression in my heart. It's just that I can't split my heart into 2. I've already given it to Donga. This is why Chua is the person I've let down the most in my life. 7. His hand lifted, and the dagger stabbed. This time, the black light evidently slowed down slightly. It wasn't because Hui Yuhao's determination had fallen. It was because his body was a little overwhelmed because he was in such a weak state. This stab was closely connected to the 6th stab. They were both further to the sides of his intestines. He finally collapsed after this stab. He sat down on the ground, in the puddle of his blood on the ground. His body was trembling slightly, and he needed his other hand to support himself to keep himself from fully collapsing to the ground. Do you still remember? Wutong, I tried to pour my soul power into you that day. In fact, I took you as her, just without the memories. I really hoped that our martial souls would fuse to prove that you were her. But I failed. Our soul power can't fuse. It doesn't seem that our martial souls are compatible. Then, I realized that you aren't her. You are Tang Wutong. She is Wang Donga. The greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. At that moment, I felt very tormented. I felt extremely tormented. I really wish that you were her. If that were the case, there would be light in my world once again. Hui Yuhao's eyes had already turned completely grey by now. His pupils seemed to have dilated. He finally couldn't see Tang Wutong clearly anymore. There was only a blurry, pinkish-blue figure in front of him. I had two wishes in my life originally. My first wish was to avenge my mother. However, that has slowly faded away as time passed. That's because I've slowly realized that my hatred is diminishing. My mom wouldn't want me to avenge her. Furthermore, I can't do it. I really can't. My other wish is to get together with Donga. To live together with her. To wed her and have a few kids. To accompany my kids every day. That's all I want. As he spoke until here, Hui Yuhao's tears were already flowing from his eyes. He seemed to see himself and Wang Donga together, and their kids running not far away from them. Tang Wutong was in a daze as she looked at him. It was as if she had been completely immersed in his tragic story. 8. Long Xiaoyao's voice suddenly turned cold and stiff. Hui Yuhao plucked out the black dagger again. But when he stabbed himself once more, he had evidently lost his strength. He stabbed at his right chest, but the dagger swept across his rib. He had to exert force twice before it stabbed through his body. Right now, Tang Wutong's eyes had already turned hollow. She didn't even bother trying to stop him anymore. Hui Yuhao's voice was becoming weaker and weaker. It was trembling, and he was stuttering. Wutong, if you see someone that looks identical to you in the future, she might just be my Donga. Please take care of her, but don't tell her of everything between us. In fact, it's good if she forgets me. I'm too much of a burden. Perhaps she'll be happier without me. I'm happy as long as she's happy. Elder Long, I hope you stay true to your word. Don't make it difficult for her. Let her leave. 9. Hui Yuhao shouted out the last number on his own. His eyes suddenly brightened, and there was even a weird trace of light shining from his body. He plucked out the black dagger and stabbed it towards his heart. He remembered everything that had happened between him and Donga. Wasn't it sort of a relief for him? Right now, he only wanted to be free. Now, no one could stop him. Even Di Qian couldn't do so. This was because there was no sense of danger in his heart. Everything was done willingly. He really didn't want to live anymore. He felt very, very tired. There was a bitter look on his face right now. I'm sorry, my partners. I can only shirk my responsibilities this way. I'm not afraid of death. Death, to me, is like home. Donga has forgotten me, Chua has died because of me, and I don't want revenge anymore. The Snow Empress, Ice Empress, and Star Anise all have the origins of the manifold mysterious ice essence. They can help someone else to improve and become a god. Everything seems to be perfect. I can finally leave this world. I want to find my mother. Due to his terminal lucidity, Hui Yuhao's last stab was stronger than the earlier 8 stabs. No matter how strong he would never be able to survive once this dagger stabbed into his heart. Tang Wutong collapsed completely when he stabbed himself again. She lost consciousness. Squelp. The sharp dagger stabbed into his flesh and penetrated it. He had 18 wounds on his body right now. Hui Yuhao's consciousness blurred. He couldn't control his body as it fell back. However, there was a smile on his face. It was a smile of freedom and relief. In this world, there was nothing he longed for anymore. It was as if it was time for him to go because his time was up. Long Xiaoyao placed the unconscious Tang Wutong on the ground. He revealed a heavy look on his cold and elderly-looking face. What a passionate young man. He sighed slightly and took a step out before coming to Hui Yuhao's side. He slowly squatted down and grabbed the black dagger in his chest before pulling it out. Hui Yuhao lay there without moving. His life energy seemed to have disappeared. Long Xiaoyao's eyes suddenly brightened. Their surroundings became dark and silent once again. Even the blood in Hui Yuhao's body stopped following. In this silent and dark world, he was the only one who could move. He slowly lifted his right hand and pressed it on Hui Yuhao's chest. He could clearly see streaks of black current fading from the 18 wounds on Hui Yuhao's body. In a matter of seconds, the wounds were already covered in red. Light flashed in Long Xiaoyao's hands, and a white bead appeared in his palm. He pressed his other hand on Hui Yuhao's chest, as if he were sensing something. After a brief moment, there was a satisfied look on his face. After this, he placed the bead in Hui Yuhao's mouth. After completing all these, he bent over and carried Hui Yuhao up to a cleaner place. He helped to strip his blood-stained shirt from his body. Hui Yuhao stopped losing blood under the coagulation effect of the silent and dark domain. However, when his body was completely naked, his wounds were bared for the Dragon Emperor Doluo to see. A smile surfaced across Long Xiaoyao's face, if not for the fact that this dragon pill requires you to have no resistance, and that you must be in your absolute weakest state. Why would I make you go through so much pain? Hi, to be honest, I was moved by you earlier, and almost couldn't lay my hands on you. It's just that Mu Yen made me do this. In fact, you wouldn't need this dragon pill if you weren't improving so quickly. However, the time seems to be right now. This is because I can't stop Shishui. I shall leave the responsibility of resisting the Holy Ghost Church to you. Young fellow, you must do your best. As he spoke, Long Xiaoyao moved his hands and turned Hui Yuhao's body continuously. His wounds were quickly stitched up. However, he was still very pale from losing so much blood. However, it was at this moment that a layer of dim golden light was exuded from the dragon pill in his mouth. The golden halo spread down to his entire body. Long Xiaoyao also carried Tang Wutong over and placed her beside him. The smile on his face intensified. What a touching scene. If such a young lady doesn't fall for him, it'll be really weird. This young man is so dumb. Unless there are twins, how can you find two people who look so alike in this world? Surely there isn't a second three-eyed golden lion, right? If Hui Yuhao were still alive, he would almost surely be shocked by Long Xiaoyao's words. Evidently, the Dragon Emperor Doluo was very aware of his matters. Sun Moon Empire. Radiant City. Imperial Palace. Xu Qianran quietly sat in a chair that was decorated with all types of treasures and rubies. Not far in front of him, Zhu Zi was kneeling with one knee on the ground and her head was lowered. From the side, it was clear that she looked a little pale. Get up. It isn't fully your fault. Xu Qianran waved at her. Zhu Zi lowered her head and said, Your Majesty, it's my mistake. If I were more alert, we wouldn't have suffered such heavy losses. We've lost soldiers and resources this time. Please punish me, Your Majesty. Xu Qianran stood up and walked in front of Zhu Zi, lifting her up. He gently patted her shoulder and said, All right, it happened too abruptly. Who would have expected the soul beasts in the extreme north to suddenly turn violent? According to what you mentioned, there were at least 2 savage beasts attacking you. They are likely to be 2 of the 3 heavenly kings of the extreme north. It already wasn't easy for you to escape. The conditions in the extreme north are rigorous, unlike any other place. It's simply too harsh. It's a place that favors those ice-type soul beasts. It seems like we made a wrong strategic move this time, and ignored such an important aspect. Zhu Zi continued to lower her head and said, I am guilty. Xu Qianran pulled her hand and walked all the way until the side, sitting down with her. What's the crime? Over the past year, you've given your all for me and the Empire. You've become much thinner. You've contributed so much to the Empire and have risen quickly in the military. You are known as the female warrior of our military. What's a single mistake worth? No one is always victorious. When we fully occupy the Heavenly Soul and Do Ling empires, I'll let you command the entire military to destroy those soul beasts in the extreme north. Then, all the rare metals will still belong to us. With all those soul beasts around, I don't believe the Do Ling Empire will be able to obtain anything either. You don't have to think so much. Zhu Zi lifted her head at this moment and was moved as she said, Your Majesty, thanks for sparing me. Xu Qianran smiled as he looked at her. After this, he sighed and said, the situation at the front line is very stable now. We have taken over most parts of the Heavenly Soul Empire. However, our forces are a little overwhelmed because of the Star Luo Empire. This was especially so during the earlier stages of the war, when a lot of our resources were drained, and we weren't able to supply enough reinforcements to the front line. Right now, we'll maintain the status quo and not rush into attacking further. Otherwise, we'll give the three empires opportunities if our fighting lines are overstretched. Juzi's confidence was restored when they began talking about the front line. She furrowed her brow slightly and commented, although our fighting lines are a little overstretched now, the regions of the Heavenly Soul Empire that we've occupied are still considered quite stable. You are right. We must further stabilize the situation at the front line. We must quickly get rid of the problems that the Star Luo Empire is bringing us from the back to resolve the dilemma. I suggest that we ask the Death God Doluo to attack the Mingdo mountain range once again after we've accumulated further resources. We'll be able to threaten the Star Luo Empire then. It's only when we strengthen our defense at the Mingdo mountain range that we can continue to attack without any worries. Xu Qianran smiled and said, My Juzi is a brilliant strategist now. All those elders from the military are impressed by you. You'll arrange these strategies. I'll tell them to the rest every time we have a mission. Yes, Your Majesty. Your Majesty, please allow me to move off tomorrow and lead the Phoenix Soul Engineer Legion to kill the Star Luo Empire's Soul Masters. I'll clean them out in the fastest possible time and give the Death God Doluo the opportunity to attack the Mingdo mountain range. Xu Qianran stood up. Along with the advancements of Soul Tool technology, the prosthetic legs that he had allowed him to become mobile. He shook his head gently and said, Juzi, while it's important, we can't finish it quickly. Leave it to someone else. I've already requested help from Zhongliwu from the Holy Ghost Church. The Death God Doluo is holding the fort at the border. She's the anchor. The Star Luo Empire is only making trouble for us. It's fine. They can't accomplish anything. Juzi was moved and asked, Your Majesty, do you have something else for me to do? Xu Qianran nodded slightly and said, That's right, there's something important I need you to do. You're the only who can do it. Juzi quickly got up and kneeled down beside Xu Qianran before saying, Your Majesty, please instruct me. As long as I can do it, I'll do anything. Xu Qianran revealed a displeased look on his face and bent over to lift her up. Silly girl, I've told you many times that we're married now. You don't have to be so ceremonial in front of me. Why don't you listen to me? Juzi lowered her head and softly said, In my heart, you'll always be my master. I'm only your servant. My life belongs to you. As long as you need it, I'll even die for you without any hesitation. Even though Xu Qianran was an anti-hero, he was still a person. In his earlier years, his biological younger brother had tried to assassinate him, and he had almost died. Juzi had helped him escape even though she was hurt. All these years, he had many powerful people around him. However, he only trusted Juzi. Xu Qianran embraced her. I told you that you're my wife, not my servant. It's like that now, and it'll remain like this in the future. In the future, you'll command the masses. Juzi gently leaned on his shoulders and revealed a satisfied smile on her face. However, she was actually sighing in her heart. Your Majesty, do you really think I don't know your personality? If I don't appear obedient in front of you, you'll start to become skeptical. I understand you very well. This is why I must do this to earn your trust. Your Majesty, what do you want me to do? Xu Qianran turned serious and said, When you left this time, the official submitted a petition for something. Juzi asked, What has left you so troubled? Who's the one who put you in a spot? I'll go and, as she spoke until here, a cold look flashed across her eyes. Xu Qianran shook his head and said, If it were anything else, who would dare to threaten me? However, this matter can't shut everyone's mouth. They want me to bear the Crown Prince while I'm at the peak of my reign. After hearing the words, Crown Prince, Juzi couldn't help but tremble. She subconsciously lifted her head to look at Xu Qianran. Xu Qianran revealed a bitter smile on his face. "You're the only one who knows my secret. How can I bear a crown prince? Ever since I took over the throne, you have been my only empress. Apart from you, I don't have any other concubines. In the eyes of others, I appear to be very loyal to you. However, you know the true reason." Juzi naturally knew that Xu Qianran was infertile because of the injury he had sustained. He didn't need concubines at all. On the other hand, having concubines might make things worse. This concerned his dignity as an emperor and as a man. Juzi didn't say anything. She didn't know what to say. This concerned Xu Qianran's face. Xu Qianran pondered and said, "Right now, I need to have a kid. It has to be a male to shut everyone's mouth. Even if it's not, I don't think they'll say anything much, as long as there's a kid. This is why you must remain in the palace for some time. You're still the commander of the 3 armies, but don't personally enter the battlefield temporarily. Bear me a child first." This, Juzi was a little dazed as she looked at Xu Qianran. After she was stunned for a moment, she lowered her voice and asked, "Your Majesty, do you want us to adopt one?" Xu Qianran shook his head and snorted coldly, "Those old fellows are watching me. How can I adopt and keep things from them? They have people in the infirmary. We can't mess this up. This is why we must make it real. Do you still remember? I mentioned that we can't artificially inseminate you. Even though I can't speak to anyone of this, I can still request a relative to find a seedling for you. This kid will be my heir." Juzi was horrified. She turned around and kneeled once again. "No, Your Majesty. No, I can't do that. How can I bear someone else's child? I'm your Juzi and will only be your Juzi. No, I don't agree." Xu Qianran was a little stunned and was also a little touched as he looked at Juzi. This was the first time she had dared to resist his orders ever since he had saved her. However, this resistance stroked his ego. If possible, no one will want his wife to have someone else's kid. However, I have no choice. I can only do this to shut everyone up. I've even selected the candidate. He's an authentic bearer of the royal blood lineage, and he's a distant cousin of mine. Due to a mutation of his martial soul, he's not even a soul master now, and he holds a very lowly position in the royal family. Apart from you, no one else must know about this. I'll ask someone to teach you how to carry it out. After that, you retrieve the seedling from his body and implant it into your own body. After that, he'll be killed. No one will know this secret then. Don't worry, I am infertile. The child you bear will be ours. I'll treat him like our biological son. When I turn 100 years, he'll inherit the throne. Perhaps we might rule the entire Dolor continent by then." Juzi lifted her head and looked at Xu Qianran pitifully. "Your Majesty, is there no other way? I am really unwilling to do this." Xu Qianran's expression turned cold and he said, "All right, that's fine. Do you really think I want to do this? I feel heartache doing it too. All right, with that sort of plan, you'll be touched by another guy. Go and prepare first. I'll get someone to teach you how to do it, and I'll get the imperial physician to take a look at your body. These few days are the best time for you to be impregnated." "Yes." Juzi shuddered a little and eventually agreed to his words. She kowtowed to him respectfully. Xu Qianran's expression turned gentler. He lifted her up for the 3rd time and patted her back. "Silly girl, don't think too much. I already told you that I'll treat the child you bear as our own. Only I have the right to be his father. You can go now." "Yes, Your Majesty." Juzi indignantly made her way out after bowing to Xu Qianran. After exiting, a heavy look gradually appeared on Juzi's face. However, there was a cold intent that flashed across her eyes. "Xu Qianran, why didn't I realize that I'll only be your pawn? Even the closest pawn is still a pawn." When He Yuhao regained consciousness, he was stunned to discover that he was in a clean room. The room also looked very familiar to him. Everything around him was familiar, including the aura. Where am I? He was a little puzzled. Everything that had happened earlier replayed itself in his memories. Didn't I meet the Darkness Holy Dragon and Dragon Emperor Dolor, Long Xiaoyao? Wasn't I stabbed 9 times because of his threat? But why don't I feel any pain? He subconsciously touched his body and was astonished to discover that there weren't any wounds at all. He then circulated his soul power. His body drifted up above his bed, and there were suddenly strong soul power undulations in the room. This? Hui Yuhao was shocked as he sensed everything. He discovered that this soul power was like a strong wave. Just by circulating it slightly, it was actually surging. What's going on? Where exactly am I? Bang! The door opened. A figure rushed in. Wasn't she Nan Xiuqiu? When she saw Hui Yuhao sitting up, Nan Xiuqiu was delighted. Ah, Yuhao, you're awake. You're finally awake. What happened exactly? You were unconscious for 7 days. Hui Yuhao looked at her and was shocked as he asked, am I really alive? Nan Xiuqiu took a few steps forward and pinched his arm with force. Ayo, what are you doing? Hui Yuhao screamed in pain. If you know that it's painful, it obviously means that you aren't in a dream. Of course you aren't dead. Nan Xiuqiu snapped. Hui Yuhao laughed bitterly. It's already not easy for me to come back alive, but you still pinched me so hard. Are you still human? Nan Xiuqiu furrowed her brow and placed her hands on her waist. She was furious. How dare you mention it? You didn't even bring me on your adventure to Heaven-Do City. How did Tang Wutong find you the moment she was there? Didn't you say that she isn't Dorma? After hearing her mention Tang Wutong, Hui Yuhao was stunned and asked, did she send me back? Is she fine? How would I know? Nan Xiuqiu said coldly, she dumped you here before leaving. She didn't say anything at all, as if she were dumb. Hui Yuhao furrowed his brow and sighed in his heart. Tang Wutong isn't Dorma after all. Although I don't know why I'm alive, it seems like the Dragon Emperor Dolor still let her off in the end. It's just that I was critically hurt then, and my life energy was about to fully disappear. Now that I think of it, it seemed like the last stab was blocked by something before it reached my body. That prevented my heart from being struck. Don't tell me the Dragon Emperor Dolor did it intentionally. He's the only one who could do that at that point in time. However, how did I survive? My injuries were so critical. Furthermore, I don't even feel any pain now. On the other hand, my soul power even seems to have improved. I feel as if I have touched a bottleneck. What exactly is going on? Hui Yuhao was filled with doubts as he climbed up from the bed. He moved his body. Indeed, it was filled with strength. Everything felt unbelievably good. It was good to be alive. Furthermore, Hui Yuhao felt that a lot of the pressure on him had been relieved after he went through that near-death experience. The look in his eyes was much more vibrant compared to before. He couldn't help but think of what Wang Dorma had said to him. Relieving stress from time to time was good for cultivation. Yes, I've really been under a lot of pressure. I didn't expect this to relieve so much pressure, although the way it was done wasn't very nice. Hey, what are you thinking of? Nan Xiuqiu was displeased as she questioned Hui Yuhao, seeing that he had gone quiet all of a sudden. Hui Yuhao shook his head and said, nothing. All right, Xiuqiu, how was I when I returned? Nan Xiuqiu answered, pretty good. You were just in a coma. There was nothing else really. Tang Wutong didn't say anything else. She just seemed very confused. Eldest Senior didn't probe further upon seeing that you were fine. I was fine when I returned? My wounds disappeared? It seems like I can only ask Tang Wutong to know what's going on. Xiuqiu, I'll go and see Eldest Senior first. As he spoke, he walked out. Nan Xiuqiu chased after him and said, don't forget what you promised me. Teacher Xian seems to be very excited after seeing the metal that you brought back. Oh right, don't worry. You won't be excluded. Hui Yuhao smiled. When Hui Yuhao saw Bei Bei was dealing with a lot of things. Seeing him entering, Bei was delighted before his expression sank. "Little Junior, you are really incorrigible. I won't let you leave the sect easily no matter what. Every time you leave, you have to get into some trouble. Tell me, what happened this time? Why were you in a coma, and Wutong had to bring you back?" She didn't want to say anything. "Surely you can tell me what's going on, right?" Hui Yuhao laughed as he said, "Eldest senior, don't be angry. Nothing happened really. I went to Heavendo City to capture an evil soul master, as well as to find out where teacher Xiao Wei and sister Xiao Dao are at. I searched the city. They aren't there. After that, I met a strong opponent when capturing an evil soul master, which drained me. I might have fallen into a coma because of that. Oh yes, I almost forgot." When he mentioned the evil soul master, Hui Yuhao immediately thought of two important questions. He wondered if the evil soul master he had sealed in his storage-type soul tool was alive after so many days. In addition, the Ice Bear King could still be in Heavendo City. What's wrong? Bei jumped in shock when he heard Hui Yuhao shout. Hui Yuhao didn't say anything, but hurriedly poured in his soul power into his storage-type soul tool. A light flashed before an ice statue appeared in front of him. Hui Yuhao's ultimate ice had improved compared to before. He had frozen the evil soul master for at least 7 to 8 days, but there weren't any signs that it was going to melt. It wasn't even damaged in the slightest. The evil soul master that was frozen was still astonished, and even terrified. Bei was stunned as he asked, "This is an evil soul master you caught?" Hui Yuhao nodded and replied, "Yes. It took me quite a lot of effort to capture this fellow. When he faced the Darkness Holy Dragon, he wasn't fearful at all. However, now that he thought of it, he was actually pretty terrified then. When it came to Long Xiaoyao's cultivation, it was not something that he could surveil using his spiritual detection. This was because Long Xiaoyao was spiritually much stronger than him. It was very easy for him to unleash a spiritual barrier that kept out Hui Yuhao's spiritual power. Hui Yuhao had no way of dealing with Long Xiaoyao directly. Of course, Long Xiaoyao's spiritual power was stronger than his in terms of absolute volume rather than the level of it. Hui Yuhao's spiritual power had reached the concrete material realm. Even the Dragon Emperor Doluo wasn't at that realm yet. This was the advantage of a spiritual-type soul master. Just like Long Xiaoyao had said, if Hui Yuhao purely cultivated his spirit eyes to the standard of a transcendent Doluo, he might actually be able to fight him. In fact, Hui Yuhao had the confidence of challenging Long Xiaoyao when he considered his ultimate ice. This video will end here.